On the news this morning, Anambra Deputy Governor Dr. Keke identifies inadequate data collation and analysis as part of challenges confronting national development. Anambra government to take delivery of farm inputs from NEMA today. Nigeria Labour Congress cautions federal government against removal of fuel subsidy. On the foreign scene, 3 people killed in aircraft runway accident near Mount Everest. Good morning and welcome to the news. My name is Nonye Ngokoye. According to available statistics, the number of women in the field of data science over the years is on the sliding side in the contemporary academic and professional domains. Presently, it is estimated that the percentage of women in the field in Nigeria is still within the depreciating range of 10 to 20%. It is against this backdrop that the Women in Data Science, WIDS, OCA held its first annual conference on showcasing the professional and developmental benefits of data science to the growing human society. Daniel Ezigwe has details of our report.
The Women in Data Science Conference also provided an opportunity for students to hear about the latest data science-related research in a number of domains, learn how leading-edge companies are using data science to succeed, and connect with potential members in the field. The Deputy Governor of Anambra State, Dr. Nkem Okeke, represented by one of his aides, Dr. Charles Nwufo, while declaring the event open, argued that part of the issues facing the developmental blueprints of Nigeria was inadequate data collection, analysis, and documentation.
You don't need to be a mathematician, you don't need to be a computer scientist to be involved in data. All of us are really, we get involved in data in one way or the other. Either even doing our domestic assignments, going to market.
In a keynote address, the WITS ambassador, OCA, and founder, Data Science Problem Solutions, Mrs. Obioma Onukube, said the conference was organized to coincide with the annual Global Women in Data Science Conference, a forum that has spread across 53 countries and in an estimated 150 locations worldwide. She also added that the design of the event was to inspire and encourage women to become decision makers and have a strong voice in data-related enterprises.
Data science is not just an exciting field to be in, but also an increasing important field. Many policies, decisions in industry, commerce, politics, medicine, etc. are made based on data science.
Speakers at the conference including Dr. Eno Akarawak from the Department of Mathematics, University of Lagos, who spoke on the role of statistics in decision-making, while Dr. Chioma Nzomiwu from the Faculty of Dentistry, University of Calabar, spoke on how dental imaging can be improved with machine learning and highlighted the indispensability of data to human day-to-day works, including conservation of resources and healthcare.
Statistics is the core of decision-making. You can make a decision without consulting a statistician. That's not what we are saying. But we are saying your decision is not an informed decision. Your decision may not stand the test of time.
Other speakers, Dr. Happiness Obiora Iluno from the Department of Statistics, UNIZIK, whose topic was Bootstrap Approach for Decision-Making in 21st Century, and Mrs. Blessing Idu from the Department of Computer Science, who dwelt on Data, Information and Knowledge, Introduction to Machine Learning, took the students through various applications of data science to computer programming, statistical research, and precision. In attendance was the immediate past dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences, UNIZIK, Professor Stella Okonna, who re-echoed the import of the conference to the students at large. In Oka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for that comprehensive report. Moving on, the state government will on Monday, 15th April 2019, that's today, take delivery of farm input from National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to cushion the effect of last year's flood on farmers. The Commissioner for Agriculture, Mechanization, Processing and Export, Mr. Afam Banefo, announced this during a stakeholders workshop on knowledge sharing organized by the State Coordination Office of FGN Kumaifad VCDP for its farmers, off-takers, agro-dealers and regulatory agencies at ADP Hall in Oka. Agri-correspondent Ebele Eze reports that disbursement to farmers will commence in 1 or 2 weeks' time.
While explaining that they have keyed into various programs like the CBN Anchor Borrowers Program, NASAL, Bank of Agriculture, Federal Government IFAD VCDP, FADAMA, ATAP-SWAN, and many others to recover what they lost to flood last year, Mr. Mbadefe noted that the ministry has already profiled over 3,000 farmers in various locations for NASAL. He, however, added that every activity in the ministry is geared towards the official launch of the 2019 rain-fed farming season.
We want, by the next second quarter, end of second quarter, to be able to develop Anambra State agro farm, as in shops, market, Anambra State agro farm market, in the major cities. But we'll start from Anambra State.
While listing the achievements already recorded, the State Program Coordinator, Federal Government IFAD VCDP, Mr. Namda Guncha, said they have keyed farmers into using certified seeds instead of grains, increased the participation of women and youth involvement in agriculture, among numerous other achievements. Mr. Aguncha, however, announced that the state agro dealers have signed a memorandum of understanding with the State Commodity Agricultural Forum, CAF, to assist farmers in offsetting 30% out of their 50% input grant.
All the stakeholders in the rice and cassava value chain, they have come together to form this Commodity Agricultural Forum. They are going to help each other, render services. You can hear the agro dealer telling us that they've signed a kind of MOU with the Commodity Agricultural Forum, that they are ready to support our farmers to the tune of 30%.
Speaking on market linkages and the impact of CAF, the state manager of NAI, Mr. Andrew Uzoma, who spoke through one of the marketers, Mr. Richard Ashinze, while urging them to always insure the farms, noted that out of the over 200 million naira indemnity owed state farmers that lost their farm to last year's flood, they only have 8.9 million naira outstanding, assuring that in few weeks' time it will be cleared. The stakeholders' knowledge-sharing workshop climaxed with the inspection of the exhibition stand displaying various value addition along rice and cassava value chains. Knowledge, they say, is power. With effective knowledge and information sharing among agri-stakeholders in Anambra State farmers have seamlessly advanced to sustainable and mechanized agriculture. From the Agricultural Development Program Office in Oka, I am Ebele Eze reporting for ABS News.
All the Catholic parishes in Dunukofia region yesterday converged at St. Anthony's Catholic Church, Umudioka, to celebrate the 2019 Christmas Mass. The Pontifical High Mass, presided over by the Metropolitan and Archbishop of Onitsha Ecclesiastical Province, Most Reverend Valerian Okeke, attracted priests, reverend sisters from different congregations, catechists, clergy from sister churches, knights and ladies of the church, among others, gathered to witness the event, which is part of activities marking the Easter celebration, according to Catholic Church calendar. Amaka Chibuzo has details.
The Mass featured blessing of 3 different oil, one for the sick, one for the catechumen, and the last chrism oil, which will be used for different activities of the church throughout the year. In a homily at the Mass, Most Reverend Okeke said that the Mass, which brought all the priests together, was to show gratitude to God for his mercies upon them in their work of evangelism. Most Reverend Okeke said that the event offers Catholic priests opportunity to renew their vows and rededicate themselves to God. He maintained that the handing over of schools back to churches, which he said took them over 40 years to achieve, stating that it improves morale in the children, give room for competitive and quality education, which makes students from the state perform excellently during competitions. He encouraged especially students of Regina Pass's Secondary School, Onitsha, for making Africa, Nigeria, and Anambra State proud. Most Reverend Okeke further spoke on Holy Eucharist, which he described as strength of the Christians, which he said is a mystery instituted by Christ during the Last Supper.
ọ bụ sacrament bụla aja. Holy Eucharist enwere one definition ọ bụ ife omimi. Mmadụ ka Benedict dị asọ gwara anyị na ọ bụ ife omimi nke onyinye dị mụ na Jesu Kristi were onwe wee nye iji wee gosi ịfụnanya nke Chineke fụrụ ụwa, ịfụnanya nke Chineke fụrụ mmadụ niile.
In his remark, the Episcopal Vicar of Dunukofia, Very Reverend Father Theophilus Odukwe, encouraged the Dunukofia region to cherish and nurture the Holy Eucharist as the body and blood of Christ, embrace peace and live it out all the days of their lives.
But when we get ourselves fully inserted in the Eucharist, we learn the life of Christ. But the Eucharist, even though it is thanksgiving, it also gives sacrifice. And Jesus gave his life in order to save us. So that when we are ready to serve others.
Blessing of oil, Eucharistic celebration and thanksgiving, presentation of 2019 pastoral letter, paying of homage to the Archbishop also featured at the event. From Umudioka, Amaka Chibuzo Okoye, ABS News.
The International Coordinator, United Nations Peace and Positive Living and Awareness Center, Most Reverend Dr. Ozioma Ozemena, has called for collective efforts at tackling global crises and restoring peace across the world. Bishop Ozemena was speaking in Awka after inaugurating the local organizing committee for preparation of the 2019 Peace Convention. Ogochukwu Okeke filed this report taken from the studio.
The international coordinator said the one-day peace convention aimed at seeking solution to world crisis and global peace will hold soon in Awka. Most Reverend Dr. Zemena, who said participants will be drawn from states across the federation, charged the local organizing committee to work conscientiously towards the convention's success. He explained that the program, which has its theme as peaceful coexistence, panacea for sustainable development, is to address the issues of crisis and problems globally, and explained that they chose Anambra State for the convention because it is the safest and most peaceful state in the country. He noted that the target leaders of various fields, including the academia, religious and community leaders, corporate establishments, the political class, civil society groups, among others. The bishop, who reiterated that peace is paramount and imperative, stressed that any environment devoid of peace cannot have growth and development. He urged everyone to pursue and canvass for peace in religious and secular circles, as well as every other place. The bishop advised all and sundry to participate actively in order to achieve the goal of building a better state and country at large.
Peace is paramount. Peace is imperative. With all our getting, so to say, we should get peace. We should pursue it, even from the religious point of view. The Bible talks about pursuing peace, follow peace with all men, and peacemakers are children of God. So peace is not what should be relegated to the background.
The Director, News and Current Affairs of ABS, Mr. Gebo Aleze, who is an ambassador for world peace, is a member of the local organizing committee.
The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, has cautioned the federal government against implementing the recommendations of the International Monetary Fund, IMF, on the removal of subsidy on petroleum products in the country. Mr. Ayuba Waba, NLC president, gave the advice at a news conference in Abuja. Waba said that the continued devaluation of the Nigerian currency has created the impression of the existence of subsidy. He said that as long as the value of the naira was left to market forces, the issue of subsidy would continue in the country. The NLC leader urged that efforts should be made by the government to upgrade the nation's refineries. He noted that countries like Venezuela are celebrated because they stood their ground on policies that must work for the people and not for the capitalists. On business news, telecommunications companies under the aegis of Association of Licensed Telecommunication Operators of Nigeria are proposing a cost-based tariff for voice calls in the country. Alton, however, denied speculations that there would be a tariff increase for voice calls, saying the new model would reflect the cost of doing business. Speaking on the development, the chairman, Alton Benga Adebayo, said it had started putting together necessary information on the cost of doing business in the country and would advocate a review of the existing tariff model. According to him, the base price tariff that is currently operational does not consider the multiplicity of taxes and levies in the telecom industries. A small plane veered off the runway and hit 2 helicopters while taking off near Mount Everest, killing 3 people and injuring 3, officials said. The accident happened at Lukla Airport, which is the main gateway to the Everest region and is reputed to be one of the most difficult in the world for landings and takeoffs. A co-pilot from Let 410 run by Summit Air bound for Kathmandu and a police officer on the ground were killed on the spot. Lukla Airport official Emma Nath Adhikari said another policeman died in hospital in Kathmandu, a police spokesman confirmed. Lukla Airport is used by thousands of trekkers and climbers heading for the Everest region each year and is particularly busy in April and the spring mountain climbing season begins. On sports news, former Egypt striker Ahmed Mido Hossam has boasted Nigeria's Super Eagles and the Teranga Lions of Senegal cannot stop the Pharaohs from winning the 2019 Africa Cup of Nations. Mido was speaking after the Pharaohs were placed in Group A alongside DR Congo, Uganda and Zimbabwe in Friday's draw. He argued that the only team that can trouble the hosts are Morocco. The 2019 Africa Cup of Nations will take place in Egypt from 21 June to 19 July, meaning Europe-based players, including the likes of Egypt's Mohamed Salah and Mohamed Elneny, will not miss club games. Mido missed out on playing in a Nations Cup final on home soil in 2006 after he fell out with the coach earlier in the tournament. The Pharaohs went on to win the trophy and also won the next 2 editions in 2008 and 2010 to make it 7 Nations Cup victories in total, a record number of tournament triumphs. Family, friends, and well-wishers, including the ABS family, turned out en masse to commiserate with the family of Obidike during the burial of their mother, late Mrs. Elizabeth Aborocha Obidike of Anako, Ayamelum local government area. Late Mrs. Obidike was the mother of Mr. Afam Obidike Kenechukwu Chukwode, has details of our report.
The requiem mass for late Mrs. Abohocha was held at St. Joseph Catholic Church, Anako. In his homily, Reverend Father Anthony Okum reminded all that life on earth is a passage and stressed the need for Christians to live consciously and righteously according to God's teaching.
She lived a good life, and now that's why we are all here today to celebrate her, and she has gone to rest in heaven. The way you live your life is the way you will draw people to yourself or draw people away from you.
The eldest son of the deceased, Mr. Afam Obidike, who recalled memories shared with his mother, including a journey to Abia State when they were stranded due to vehicle breakdown, and she did everything to protect and sacrifice for them, and urged all to always love and do their best for their mother while alive.
My mom was just like the greatest woman I've ever seen. So humble. She would do everything to make sure that the children had better education.
2 other sons of the deceased, Mr. Chudi Obidike, a superintendent of police, and Emeka Obidike, said they shared a lot of good times with their mother, especially her laughter and encouragement, which they said saw them to university education and urged all to live a legacy-inspired life. In their condolence message, the head of finance of ABS, Mrs. Nneka Obuonwu, and a superintendent of police, Mr. Ismail Numan, said the deceased lived a virtuous life by the way she raised all her 5 children to become responsible citizens, and urged them to keep her legacy alive by living humbly, praying God to console them.
Otu a mama fapugolo paga try ka ha numie etu mama va se bindo by ichukata onwefa as one family.
Our parents are so dear to us. When we come up, they are the ones that brought us up, especially the place of the mother in person's heart. There is nothing I can tell him that will make him feel less of the grave, but just to bear heart. He should take heart. He should understand that that is God's willing.
Late Mrs. Elizabeth Obidike died at the age of 72 years and survived by her husband and 5 children. From Anako, Ayamelum local government area, it's been Kenechukwu Chukwudi for ABS News.
May the Lord give you the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss. And that's the news. But before we go, remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by liking our Facebook page, www.ABS Radio Television. Subscribe to our youtube.com at ABS Radio TV Online, on Twitter and ABS Radio TV, and on Instagram at ABS Radio TV. You can also log on to our website at www.absradiotv.com. And the main points of the news: Anambra Deputy Governor Dr. Keke has identified inadequate data collation and analysis as part of challenges confronting national development. Anambra government is to take delivery of farm inputs from NEMA today. Nigeria Labour Congress has cautioned federal government against removal of fuel subsidy. And on the foreign scene, we brought a report that 3 people have been killed in aircraft runway accident near Mount Everest. And that's the news. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Nonye Mokoye. Good morning.